What's up, everybody? Sorry for the short delay. Just got everything set up. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Of course, YouTube being the main one, since that's what I announced. And so let's see how many viewers we had on. For a second, I will introduce myself and kind of talk about what we're going to talk about today. Looks like we got some people coming up on Instagram, some people coming up on Facebook, and we got some YouTubers. So, all right, cool. So if you don't know, I'm Jake Randolph, PMU marketer. Today I'm just going to talk about some cool topics that I've been looking at. Let me turn this music down a little bit. All right, cool. So some topics. One, I've seen a big trend in the industry, and just not in the industry, just in business in general. I think there's a big disconnect with what marketing, what advertising, what are the goals, and obviously the goal is to grow your business. But I'm going to talk about this new formula I found by one of my mentors, and he's like one of the greatest internet marketers in the world. And so I'm going to show you that formula and show you how you can apply it to your business. And then let me turn this music off. Yeah, if you're just now joining on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, feel free to comment below with your questions, because I'm going to be covering some topics first, and then I'm going to be answering some questions. We got a built-in time for some Q&A, so that'll be good. All right, if you can hear me, let me know in the comments also, just to make sure my microphone is working. Cool. And let me pull up my software so I can see your comments. All right, anyways, I'm going to talk to you about this formula. So how it's going to help your business. I'm going to talk about 3 myths that I've seen. And when I say myths, just 3 common misconceptions I've seen when it comes to marketing, when it comes to advertising. And I'm going to talk about 3 types of buyers and which ones you should avoid and which ones you should go after. Cool, we got some comments coming in here. There we go. Yeah, I'm using this new software. And sorry, Instagram and Facebook, if I'm not looking directly at the camera, it's because I'm on YouTube Live. Cool. And someone asked Grant Cardone. No, not him. It's actually his partner. Sweet. All right, so we're live. We got viewers. Let's do it. So here's the formula. I didn't have a whiteboard with me because for those of you who don't know, I'm in a different city right now for the next few months. And so I don't have all my tools with me. I'm in this apartment. But anyways, here is the formula, and I'll try to make sure all platforms see it. So GW plus O, and I'm not going to sit there and spell it out. So here's what this means. Let me show my Facebook people. All right, so GW stands for goodwill. O stands for offer. F stands for frequency, and obviously $ equals money. So here's the formula. Goodwill plus offers times frequency equals money. And I know that sounds like a bunch of nerdy math stuff to you, so let me break it down, because I don't like math either. I especially don't like algebra when they start throwing in all the letters and stuff. So what GW goodwill? What is goodwill? Well, goodwill is like if you know someone a little bit, you start to like them, you start to build that relationship with them, you have some goodwill because either they've provided you some kind of value. And speaking of value, that's one of the ways you're gonna get goodwill. Is there's 2 ways. One is entertainment. And honestly, entertainment's very hard because none of us are the Kardashians. That's obviously how they built their business. I mean, who is it? Kylie. She's the youngest billionaire ever created or ever made. So, I mean, they did that with entertainment. So unless you have that kind of personality and you're good at, there are a couple permanent makeup artists I've seen who their Instagram stories are pretty entertaining. They've got some good content, and so that's cool. But for the 99% of us, including me, we're not that entertaining. And so the second way to get goodwill going is by providing value. Just like I'm doing here, I'm about to give you some awesome tips. I'm about to give you some amazing value. You should be doing that with your audience. You should, let's say that you're in the permanent makeup industry, which is obviously all or most of my clients are in the permanent makeup or the beauty industry. So how can you provide value to those people? Well, you can, start with the most basic thing and just tell them about your services. I have so many clients who start out and they're like, all right, I posted some pictures, but people don't really know what I offer. And I'm like, well, have you told them what you offer? And have you explained the description? Have you shown them like a graph, a chart, a video, like anything to like really explain what you offer? And a lot of times they haven't. And so that's the most basic form of providing value, is saying like, hey, this is what I offer. This is how I can help you. I feel bad for Facebook because they're kind of looking at the bottom of my face because I'm on the iPad. anyways, so yeah, provide value. Um, Back to entertainment, you can incorporate that a little bit, whether you're just showing a little bit of your personal life. I like to do this is a good formula I found: 80% business, 20% personal for me, and for a lot of my mentors. That generally trends to be the idea. But if you are more of a private person, you could do 100% business. I wouldn't do too much personal, because then you start to get your people, like your viewers, they start to get confused on like, what do you actually offer? Is this a business or what? So you have to find a balance. But yeah, majority of my clients are not doing enough personal. I'm not saying you have to show your family and all that. I'm just saying, like, maybe do some behind the scenes, like, hey, I'm on my way to work, or hey, this is what I do. I'm watching this on the weekend, or who knows, just a little bit of entertainment every now and then can definitely help, especially with viewer engagement and stuff. But overall, like I said, the value of this is, and the first step in this formula is creating goodwill. The other thing to mention about goodwill is it's really the number one way to grow your business, because, and I'll go ahead and dive into the three types of buyers. And so this was kind of like an epiphany for me. And when I say that, like, it's stuff that I've kind of like known, but when I've been doing my research lately, how many of you, and let me know in the comments if you can relate to this, how many of you who have, whether it's permanent makeup or whether it's whatever you've done, once you get kind of good at it and once you get more experience at it, you go back to the basics, you're like, okay, now that makes more sense. Well, that's kind of what I've been doing with marketing. So now that I've spent over $1 million in ad spend, now that I've worked with over 1,000 or 2,000 people and business owners, now I'm starting to get back in the books, starting to get back into studying the newest stuff. I mean, I'm always studying the newest stuff, but now I'm starting to look and say, okay, that makes a lot more sense now. I can relate because I've seen that. Or, experience plus knowledge is really where you start to get very, very good at something. And so that's kind of what's happened to me. And by the way, if you're on YouTube and you haven't subscribed, if I get 1,000 subscribers this week, or 1,000 subscribers by the end of tonight, I'm going to be doing a giveaway. Right now, I think I'm at like 930. And so I just need 70 more people to subscribe, and leave that comment below if you have a question, because we're going to be doing Q&A in a minute. Same with Facebook. You can ask your questions on Instagram. So cool. So back to the formula: goodwill plus offers. Now, you're probably thinking like, oh, okay, so you're saying I have to do a discount or a deal. No, that's not what I'm saying. Like, those are forms of offers, but an offer can be something as simple as, hey, if you get in right now with me, or you get in, you get an appointment, then that's awesome because I'm super booked up. Or it can be, you name it, because when you really break down business and break down what it means to provide a service or a product, you're basically saying like, all right, I think that my service or my product is more valuable than that cash you have or that money you have. And I think you should give me that money. In exchange, I'm going to provide you either equal or more value. I mean, I believe in over delivering. So I would say, as a business owner, you should say, if you give me this amount of money, I'm going to give you this much more back in value. And so that's the basics of marketing and business. And so someone said subscribe. Thank you. But anyways, yeah, so that's the basics of marketing business. So if we expand that into how we can have some practical tips today and how we can do that, what we can start doing differently in our marketing, because I guarantee you 99% of you are not doing these things. And crap, my mom said call me ASAP. All right. Anyways, let's go. 2 ways to create goodwill. Yeah, like we said, entertainment, providing value. Going back to types of buyers, there are 3 types of buyers. There's today buyers, there's future buyers, and there's never buyers. And so for today buyers, that's what everybody's going after. And real quick, let me check my phone and make sure there's no emergency. I don't see anything. Yeah, that's the bad thing about going live. Life happens. And so, all right, cool. So what are the 3 types of buyers? Today buyers, tomorrow buyers, and future buyers and never buyers. Obviously, we want to avoid the never buyers. Those are the people who maybe have some kind of like adverse condition, or they'll just never buy from you. When I say adverse condition, like, you know what I mean, in permanent makeup, a lot of people can't get it done or something. So those are obviously the never buyers, and those weed themselves out pretty quickly. But now we have to say, like, do you want to do the today buyers or do you want to go for the future buyers? And if I were to ask that to almost any business owner, like, I want the today buyers right now. And understandable, you want someone that says, hey, I would like to buy your service today. That's what we all want. But does that happen? No. If it can happen every now and then, but usually those are the people that you've hit them with an ad, or they've seen a piece of your content on the perfect day with the perfect piece of content, and then they were in the perfect mood and they were ready to buy. That's awesome when it happens, but it doesn't happen like that 99% of the time. And so I think that's a common misconception, is that you should be able to like run an ad or make a post or do some kind of offer, and people just automatically respond with like, hey, I'm ready to book now. And if that's what you're thinking right now, let me just stay on this video for a second, because I want to explain. And this is my first time really explaining this, and so sorry if it's a little bit jumbled. I'm trying to make sure I hit all the points, because this is really, really good stuff. So today buyers, this is going to be the most expensive people to reach. This is what every single business is going for. This is what every single person wants, and it's going to be expensive for a couple reasons. One is when everyone's targeting those people that are more likely to buy right now, that person's getting hit with offers and ads and stuff all the time. And so when they see your offer or ad, they're just like, oh, great. Another person, another business owner, another business trying to get my money. And that's what those people are kind of feeling like. Plus, whether it's like via Google ads or just the right targeting or finding that person, it's going to be a lot more expensive per person to finally get to that person. And then if you do get to them, hopefully you have like a smooth process to where they actually choose to book with you. And so is it possible to get those people sometimes? Yes. And sometimes it happens like by accident. Sometimes I'm targeting future buyers and someone just books right away, and that's great. But even with the clients who do like a really good discount or a really amazing offer, not everyone books right away. And that's why I want to talk about the future buyers. So what are future buyers? The normal sales process. So let's say the people who are starting to look into a new car, they're starting to search like Ford F-150. Like, they're probably about to start buying in the next 30 to 60 days. Those are the people that you're going to want to target, because one, it's cheaper to target them. It's cheaper to reach them. Those are the people that you can build up that rapport with, build up that goodwill with. And then when you do come in with an offer, or when they do finally decide like, hey, I'm ready to buy, you've been fresh on their mind the whole time and they're ready to book with you. And so a common trend I see with people, especially when like running in a marketing agency, I see that a lot of people will be like, all right, I'm signing up with you, Jake. And then a week goes by and they're like, oh, nobody's booked and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, because we're reaching future buyers. And I know that everyone wants stuff now, but this is how the process works. And this is how my clients who have been with me for a long time have the best results. It's because like my clients who had been with me a year or two, they weren't slow this summer. But a lot of the people who came to me this summer because they were slow stayed slow because they had waited too late to really to get the results they wanted in a short amount of time frame. Because everyone's like, oh, I don't have any clients now, and now all of a sudden I want to get clients immediately. And unless you're just like a master salesman or have an amazing offer that people can't refuse, it's really hard to get people like that. And I do teach sales and stuff like that, but it's like one of the guys I was watching today, he was talking about the difference between sales and marketing. Sales is trying to get someone from, hey, how you doing, to buying. That's sales. Marketing is trying to get someone to kind of learn who you are, get to know who you are, and then get ready to put them in the sales process. And so it's a little bit different things. I would say marketing is more like not propaganda. I mean, like political, like think about a political figure. Like they start getting their stuff out. They start getting their message out sometimes years before they ever ask people to vote. And so you've got to stay fresh on people's minds. And you do that by establishing that goodwill. And I don't think I clarified enough. And I know this will spark a lot of questions because, like I said, this is the first time I've kind of really explained this. It all makes super sense to me in my head, but if I don't explain something correctly, that's why we're doing the Q&A after. And so anyone on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, you can comment and I'll clarify anything I need to clarify. But anyways, going back to providing value, I would say the number one way to do this, especially in 2019, is video. Why? Because if I were to, like the 30 people or how many ever people are watching right now, if I were to sit here and talk to you on the phone and explain what I do and what I offer and all that, it would take me hours and hours and hours to talk to each person individually. But now, if I'm on a video, I can explain to you not only how I can help you, but I can explain to you what I offer. You can see my body language. You can just see who I am. And it takes me a fraction of that time to do it instead of sitting there being on the phone. And not only that, especially with things like YouTube, like I've got people who have been who watch my YouTube video and comment on it from 3 years ago. And so these things stay afloat and it's almost selling for me and getting my name out there 24/7. And so that's another reason you should have a YouTube channel. But I'm not going to talk about necessarily channels right now. I think my 3 favorites are Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and that's what I would encourage you to have. But when I say marketing, it could be on any channel. It could be in person. It could be internet marketing. This is all these fundamentals are essentially the same. It's just tactics of how you deploy them are going to be different on each platform a little bit. So let's see, going back to, real quick before I miss it, I want to cover 3 myths that I've seen, and it kind of relates all into this, and then I'll go back to that formula to kind of finalize this. I don't want to talk too long because I do want to have that Q&A. Q&A is one of my favorite things to do. So cool. All right, so 3 myths. I'll cover them one by one. One is I need to be a good salesman for advertising to work for me or for marketing to work for me, and that's just not true. Honestly, I'm not a good salesman. I don't know. I don't like getting on the phone that much. I like to be able to multitask. I don't want to sit there and message people back and forth too much. I would rather explain what I offer, provide some value, help people out, get some testimonials, and all that stuff is how I would prefer to get clients. I don't want to sit there and be like, all right, this pin's going to change your life and it's going to be the most awesome thing in the world. That's not who I am. I'm more of a laid back, I like to help people and stuff, but I mean, if you don't want to work with me right now, you can just keep waiting. That's fine. And so that's a myth I see. You don't have to be good at sales. Now, do basic communication skills help? Yes, I think basic communication skills are very important. I think they should have taught us more of that in school. And so things like, here are some things that you can tell people. This is some ways you can follow up. Here's a couple of things that you shouldn't be doing. Those are important, and I do teach my clients those things, and I do teach that. But do you have to sit there and be a car salesman? No. And so, like I said, if I don't expect myself to do it, I definitely don't expect you to do it. So if I'm not a great salesman, I don't expect you to be a great salesman. But like I said, there's ways around that, whether it's creating cool content, establishing goodwill, showing people some different stuff. And we'll have more videos on that later, but I do want to cover some of that stuff today. All right, so myth number 2. So myth number 1 is I need to be a good salesman. Myth number 2, I need to be pushy. Not the case. Do you want to follow up with people with different ads or different posts, or maybe follow up with them with a message or whatever if they've already reached out to you? Sure, of course, because I mean, the truth is 96% of sales are made after the first follow-up. And so if you're only following up once, you're missing out on 96% of the sales. And I know I'm going back between marketing and sales a lot, but I think it's because both are very helpful and they kind of go together sometimes, or most of the time, because one leads to the other. If you have a good ad, then more people are going to come into your sales funnel. And so that's kind of how I think about it. Marketing is like throwing at the net, casting the net when you're fishing. And then sales is can you reel in the fish or pull in the net, and how many fish can you keep get into your boat, which is obviously your business. And so that's kind of how I think about sales versus marketing. Anyways, yeah, so you don't need to be pushy. I mean, can you do some follow-ups? Will that help? For sure. But you can also just create a valuable video, run that as an ad, and then retarget those people who have watched your video, because obviously if they've watched a certain percentage of your video, they're going to be interested in what you have to offer. And so let's say instead of like trying to get someone into an email list and hitting them with 10 emails and then hopefully they'll buy eventually, instead of doing that, just make a nice helpful video kind of like this, run it as an ad, and then take a certain section. So let's say people who watched at least half your video, retarget those people with an offer. And like I said, offers, and I do want to clarify that. And sorry if I'm going too fast for people. I tend to get excited and talk fast. All right. So what is an offer? Yeah, it could be like $100 off or a sale or a discount, but that's not what I want you to focus on. An offer, like I said, the perception, or just like this is how it should be. Like an offer is you should do business with me right now because I know I can provide you a ton of value. That's my offer. Like I don't do like any discounts on my advertising. It's like, hey, I think you need to be doing business with me right now, because if not, you're missing out on a ton of opportunity, because like Facebook ads are not always going to be this cheap. Facebook ads are not always going to be this powerful. We've seen trends in marketing for years and years, and Facebook right now is at its peak. So if you're not working with me right now, you're probably missing out. And so that's my offer to people. You can kind of think about and write down what your offer is, whether it's like, hey, you need to be doing this right now or you need to get your brows done right now, because every morning you're wasting 5 to 10 minutes, and that's a lot of time you could be spending with your kids before they go to school, or that's a lot of time you could be doing something else, because time is money. And so kind of think about ways you can craft your offers and craft like, I think a good way to think about offers is value perception. How do people perceive? And going back to, I really want to go back to the whole offers and the today buyers concept, because so many people get discouraged and think that advertising doesn't work because they'll run an ad, and then when they don't get those today buyers and people booking right away, they're like, oh, that didn't work, I'm just going to give up. Well, the fact is those future buyers are usually future buyers means about 30 to 60 to 90 days out. And so whenever I post any kind of ad, whenever I post any kind of content, whenever I do any kind of like anything, I don't expect to get people immediately. Like, will I possibly get someone? Yes, but I guarantee you it wasn't the first time they've heard of me. I guarantee you that person has been watching me for months, if not years, and they finally decided to work with me. That's just how it works. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a super salesman, and probably you're not either. If you are, awesome. But I'm not like a master persuader or something. And so I don't expect people to sign up with me the first time they hear about me, the first time I give them information. It's just not how it works. And so if you're expecting that, then your data is probably skewed in your mind, because you're probably thinking like, okay, I spent $100 on ads, or I spent $300 on ads, and I haven't had anybody book yet. While you do need to be monitoring your return on investment, obviously, just try to be a little bit more patient with your time frames. I was thinking about this earlier, and it's always funny to see people who like work with me for a month, and then I'll look at their page or see them on a group, and they'll be like, in like 2 or 3 months later, they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm booking more people now without him than I ever did. I'm like, okay, so basically you got those people that we reached while you were working with me. Now they've had that 30 to 60 to 90 days time period to watch your content and finally decide they want to book. But unfortunately, as a marketer, I don't get credit for those people. And that's just how it is. I mean, that's part of the game. But that's why I'm trying to educate people, is because just because someone doesn't sign up today doesn't mean that they're never going to book with you. And like I said, let's go back to that formula real quick so I can kind of explain how this all comes together. If you have questions, let me know in the comments, and I'll answer those in a moment. Cool. And if you're on YouTube right now, then please do me a big favor and hit that thumbs up like. That engagement on that post will help me reach more people. And so if I'm spending my Sunday helping you, it'd be nice to help me. So cool. Here's that formula. Goodwill plus offers times frequency. So what does that frequency mean right there? This means that you can have the best picture in the world. You could have the best video in the world, the best whatever. If you just do something one time, it's probably not going to do much for your business. It might give you like a little short burst, but it's really not going to do that much. You have to have consistency and frequency, because here's the thing. The average human being has about the same attention span as a squirrel who just took a shot of methamphetamine. So what I mean by that, most of us have the attention spans of squirrels on drugs because, and it's not necessarily the human's fault, it's because we have so much information, so many things, whether it's like new TV shows, new movies, like more offers, people, ads, like our kids or whatever, like it's just everything, all this information. We're in the information age. And so all this information is hitting us in the face constantly. And so even if I see something cool, I've probably forgotten about it 10 minutes later. And so that's why, like, even if you've made some good posts, you've got to stay consistent with it, because your business, if you just make a couple posts and just sit back and wait, your business is probably going to dwindle and go away. And that's what happens to a lot of people, is they make posts for like 2 or 3 weeks or do ads for 2 or 3 weeks. And they're like, well, I'm not really that booked up and I haven't really been getting bookings. So I'm just going to, this is not working. I'm not going to waste my time anymore. And then they just stop. And that's what happens, to tell you the truth. And so think about those future buyers and realize that you got to have the goodwill. You got to make your offer clear. You got to say, like, this is why my service is an amazing service for you. This is why you need my product. This is, hey, go to this website. Shameless plug. If you want to work with me, you can watch my video at PMUads.com, and I'll explain step by step what my service entails. I'll show you examples of ads. I'll do all that stuff. So PMUads.com. And so an offer is kind of like a call to action. That's a call to action is like a form of an offer. And so goodwill plus offers times frequency. Like I said, frequency is very important, because if you just do one video, if you just do one post, if you just do one thing, it's all for nothing, really. And then that all equals profit, income, money. And like I was saying, the people who have worked with me for a good long span, those people weren't dead this summer, because they've been reaching people last fall. They were reaching people last winter. Like, I literally get people that sign up with me after like 2 years. Like, I'll have people that are like, hey, Jake, I'm ready to sign up. And I'll go back to the conversation, and they first messaged me in like 2017. And so that's why I've learned to be patient as a marketer, as a business owner, really. I've learned to be patient, because I know that if I continue to provide value, continue to build relationships and goodwill with people. And this is not just like a marketing tactic. This is just good business 101. Like, build those relationships with people, because even if that person doesn't want to do business with you, maybe they have a friend that needs you and they refer you to their friend. Like, this is just business 101. So build those relationships, because the scariest thing to me is when I see clients who are like, these are, you can see Oscar over here. He's passed out on the couch. So if you saw that moving, that was not a pillow. That was my dog. Anyways, the scariest thing to me is when I hear people say, like, these leads are dead. These people are no good to me. Like, they didn't book right away. These are not the right people for me. And while some of them may be never buyers, I guarantee you most of those would have been future buyers if you treated them at least decent. But the problem is, a lot of people are so money hungry and just so ready to get booked up right now that they only see numbers. They don't see human beings. They don't see people. And then people pick up on that. Like, if you treat someone like crap when the first time they don't like go to your link and book, and you just ignore them, then I guarantee you another business is going to provide them a better service, or another business is going to catch their attention. And so treat people nice, treat people good. And that's how you develop that goodwill. Have your offers clear, like whether it's like, make sure you have a good website. A common question I get is, are websites a must? I don't think they're a must starting out if you have a very low budget. I think you need to get your name out there with stuff like Facebook, Instagram, go to door, like all that stuff. But I do think once you get the funds, you should start investing in a website. And shameless plug again, I offer a great website service. I can show you some examples of ones we've done recently. But anyways, what should you have on your website? You should have it very clear that it's like, hey, it's a service. This is the service I offer, whether it's a video, some pictures. This is the example. Here's a description of what I offer. Here's some frequently asked questions. Here's some testimonials. There's so many things you can put on that one sales page, and that way you're not sitting there having to call every single one of your leads. Be like, hey, this is what I offer. This be like, hey, this is my website page. Here you go. I mean, you would obviously say it in a more friendly way and follow up with them and see if they have any questions. But you want to have resources available because, I mean, some people like talking on the phone. Some people like just being able to read your message. Some people like going to your website. Some people want to watch a video. Some people like seeing a chart. Maybe like for those of you who haven't seen, especially on my Facebook group, I've got a chart that shows like, here's the difference between powder brows and microblading. And it shows it's like a comparison diagram. So yeah, those are really good. Any kind of tool you can have to like show people what you offer, provide them value is super helpful. And then let me go to the last myth, which I've kind of touched on a little bit, and then we'll start getting into some Q&A. The third myth that I've seen is, well, if I set up a good marketing program, if I set up a good ad, I can just set it and leave it. And that's just not the case with any of that stuff because, like I said, you need frequency. You need to be able to stay on top of people's minds. You need to post content consistently. For those of you who haven't noticed, you post something on Instagram or Facebook these days, barely anyone's going to see it unless you've built up some organic. And when I say organic, I mean non-paid. If you've built up an audience, then great. But even for people who built up audiences, who like love them and stuff, it's still reaching less and less people because Facebook and Instagram want you to pay them. And so that's really how it's going. And then someone said, do you recommend, sorry if I'm moving up, this camera's in the way, this phone's in the way. For those of you see on YouTube, I'm also on Instagram. Cool. Someone said, do you recommend video ads over picture ads? Is there a different cost on Facebook ads for each? And so that's a good question. I think it depends on the situation. I think videos are great if you have a good video. And this is always a touchy subject for people because everyone's scared of doing videos. Everyone's scared of getting themselves out there. Everyone's scared of saying the wrong thing. Here's the thing. If you do a video, I think overall it's probably going to be more effective. However, if you kind of like do the thing that I see a lot and you're like, all right, I'm scared to do a video, so I'm just going to show a short 10-second video clip of the after brow where I'm just going to like wipe off some mud or whatever it is, or ink. A lot of you are going to laugh about that. Then that's probably not going to work great because 1, it's boring, 2, nobody cares, and 3, it's not providing any value or goodwill. And so types of videos that help, I would say, are showing the actual procedure. Whether you're talking or you're not, showing the actual procedure is very helpful because it does 2 things, or it does multiple things. But 1, it clears up fear and uncertainty. If someone is scared of getting something done, or just because like human beings are scared of the unknown. And so if I don't really know about a service, if I don't really know like what to expect, I'm more than likely not going to get it done because it's like, that's probably not that great, or it seems like it would hurt. So the more people see the procedure itself, the more likely they are to become at least more interested, if not a buyer down the road. So do videos work better? I think yes overall, but there is multiple strategies. And like I said, the best strategy, I think, in my opinion, in general, is to promote a good video and then do another campaign where you're retargeting those video views with an offer or maybe even a picture or just something else different. And that way you're kind of finding your audience, because here's the thing, when it comes to targeting, it's hard to know exactly who would be interested in permanent makeup. Like, yeah, there's certain interests and stuff that you can go for, and you can even target by income for a little bit longer before Facebook removes that, and that's cool and all, but you don't really know exactly who's going to be interested until you start putting things out there, and that's why I think it's so idiotic for people to do 1 or 2 weeks of ads and then be done with it, because you're gathering data in that first phase. Like, can you get some sales in that first phase? Yeah, but you're gathering data because you want to put that video out to your local area, or that piece of content. If you don't want to do a video, it could be a picture with some words. Get that piece of content out, figure out who's engaging with it, who's watching it, and then retarget those people so that you can have that good audience, so that you can find those people who are more likely to be become buyers. So cool. Now we'll start to get into the Q&A, and I'll go back and hit on some stuff if it's applicable. But we're at that mark where I would like to start doing some Q&A. So go ahead and start asking your questions, whether you're this is a good point. Someone said, but that's giving away your formula showing a procedure. I think that's wrong in two different ways, and this is all based on my opinion. So someone commented and said, like, they think it's not good to show a procedure because you're giving away your secret sauce, or you're giving away your formula. One, if we're talking about consumer to buyer as far as clients go, like, so let's say you're wanting to target people for your service. So let's say you're talking about microblading. If you're wanting to target people and you want to get people for microblading service, then showing them what to expect is not really giving away anything besides like here's what to expect. Like, I hope this makes you feel better. If you think about it in the mindset of I don't want to show you this because it's like a secret behind the scenes, then basically, I mean, I don't understand that logic. I think I understand where you're going with the question, but with that logic, you're really saying, like, you're scared the person's going to learn about microblading because they're going to microblade themselves, or they're going to just do it themselves, which is just that's not the case. The second case, which is probably what you're referring to, is other trainers. So you're saying, like, oh, I don't want other trainers to copy me, or I don't want my potential students to just learn from me without paying. That's also a very good way to not stay in business, because and I think more trainers should give away more information. The reason is, if you don't show that you're knowledgeable, if you don't provide some helpful tips and stuff, one, you're not going to have much credibility as a trainer, and people don't really know who to trust because everyone has the same stupid looking flyer where they're like got their arms crossed and they're got some kind of logo in the background and like coming to this city, and like I hate seeing those flyers. Anyways, it's not like the person's just going to watch the video and be like, I mean, maybe a few people will say, like, oh, I'll take your technique, but here's what's more likely to happen. They're gonna watch that video and say, like, oh wow, she's knowledgeable. I like the way her style is. I want to go work with her one-on-one. I want her to teach me more stuff because I learned a little bit from her. Now I want to learn more. That's what's going to happen. So don't get in the mindset of, I gotta hide everything and hoard everything, because here's how it is with investing, with marketing. The more stuff you just try to keep to yourself and just like, oh, it's my $5. Like, I don't want anybody to get it. The more likely people are just going to forget about you. Your business is going to dwindle away, and you'll have less than you ever had. As opposed to if you're in a more giving mentality where you're like, here's some tips, here's some value, here's some this. I'm happy to help you. It's going to make people. It's going to make people like you. You're going to establish that goodwill. And so that was a good point. I'm glad I got to end. All right. So someone says, let's see. Thanks for your videos. You're great. Do you have any tips for a complete beginner in the industry to get their first paying clients after they finish building their portfolio? Yeah, I mean, do all the stuff that I've been teaching and if you like, let's assume you've never seen any of my other content before. What would I do if I was a new artist and you have a little bit of portfolio? One, if you don't have a portfolio, just go find some people, whether it's offering them a free service, a discounted service, whatever, for model specials. I think it's super important to have a portfolio. If you don't have a portfolio and you're trying to get people to pay a premium price, I don't know. I don't think it's a fair offer because people don't really know what to expect. You don't have any proven results. And so get proven results before you try to charge full price. Anyway, so let's say you have a portfolio, you're a new artist in a new area. I would start out with, I would do multiple things, because I've learned if you just try to do one thing, you're going to be so focused on that one thing. And I think that's what happens with a lot of my clients. They're so focused on that one ad. Like, how is this one ad going to change my life? That they quit doing everything else. You got to have a lot of different actions. Like Tony Robbins says, take massive action. So here's what I would do. One, I would do a video. I would get another client in, and I would get them to agree to do like a 5 to 10 minute live video. And I would sit there and be like, hey, this is what I'm doing. Does it hurt? How does it feel? Do you maybe even it's a touch-up client? Like, did you like your brows? Like, what do you think? Has it made your life easier? All the things that are valuable, all the things. I think the biggest. Let me take a step back. Sorry. I think the biggest mistake new artists are like is, hey, just come in and I'll give you 50% off. And people are like, 50% off what? I don't even know what you offer. Like, I don't know what value you provide. Like, 50% off of crap is still crap. And so I think that's what a lot of people do. So show them that value, bring in someone, get them on the video, start making some educational posts, because as a new artist, you're going to have probably 0 to a few reviews. With 0 to a few reviews, you've really got to build that trust. And how can you do that? By, like I said, establishing goodwill. Come here, he wants to sit with me. Come on. All right. Yeah, by establishing that goodwill, by do a blog post, do a Facebook post, do an Instagram post, do a YouTube video, do something that shows that, like, hey, I'm an artist that has been well trained. I know what I'm talking about. I know my information. Even though I don't have a ton of experience, I'm super excited to help a lot of people because I have this valuable skill and I'm very confident in myself. Even if you're not confident, find a way to get that confidence, because through training and stuff, hopefully you develop some, but you can be doing practice skin, you can be doing all that stuff to develop that confidence in yourself. And so I would do that. I would go reach out to people. I would literally pull out my phone and go to Instagram. And so like right now I'm in Oklahoma City, so I would go to Oklahoma City, type that in, go look at people, just top posts, or just keep scrolling down to different locations that are popular around here that might have my ideal client. And I would find people. I would message 100 people and say, like, hey, you look like my ideal client. I'm a permanent makeup artist. I would love to have you come in for a procedure. I'll give you a nice, in return for doing that, maybe I'm trying to get my name out there. And in return for making a post, I'll give you a nice deal. I'll give you an offer, and it's going to be awesome. I would message that to 100 people. I would reach out to a lot of people, and I would just take massive action, because if you just sit back and wait, it's like that movie where it's like, if you build it, they will come. It's not the case in business. There's too many buildings around here. You might get lucky and be in a good area, but most of you are probably not in like a super easy area, which is why you need that. Let's see. A lot of people don't message back. What do you recommend saying first to get them to get engaged? All right, cool. So here's a common question I get. Like, let's say people click on your ad, they send you a message, and then you reply to them and no message back. Totally normal. Like I said, I'm not worried about today buyers, because if I get those, that's awesome, but it's not something I'm actively going to put the money in to pursue. And so if people are not in like messaging you back, figure out what's your initial response and how can it be improved. The best way to get people to engage, whether you're talking about business, a bar, dating, anything, friendship, the best way to get people to engage and talk is to get them to talk about themselves. People love talking about themselves. And so if you're one of those people who are just like, hi, this is what I offer, this is all my certificates, this is my titles, this is all the advanced training I've been to, people are like, don't really care, cool, good for you, bye, I'm ignoring you. And that's what happens. And so instead, just maybe touch on a couple points that I mentioned earlier, but then go back and say, like, here's a couple of different examples. Like, what style do you like the best? Like, what would an extra 10 minutes a morning do for you? Like, ask questions that are easily answerable to get them to engage. And the other thing is, like, not everybody will message you back. Like, I literally, it was about a month and a half ago now, I had someone who didn't respond to me for literally 13 messages that I sent out, because I use a software to send out messages, and I recommend all you doing the same thing. I have a webinar on that, Messenger Marketing Secrets, webinar.com/sell. Anyways, I'll post a link to that below. Anyways, I recommend following up people in a mass way like that, and providing value, like whether it's a tip, announcement, like you're going YouTube live, like all kinds of stuff you can do. And so, anyways, that person had initially said something like, hey, or clicked on my link from my website. And this was like 7 months ago they didn't respond for 13 messages, not a word. Like anybody else would have said, like, this is a dead lead. This is probably a fake profile. This is always my favorite. Oh, they're robots. I got a bunch of robots messaging me. They're not replying to me. I'm the best business owner in the world. So obviously if nobody replies to me, they're a freaking robot. So anyways, she didn't respond for 13 messages. And then all of a sudden, guess what? She said, hey, I'm ready to sign up for your services, because she had obviously been looking at me. She said, I'm ready to sign up for your services. I want a website. I want a chatbot. I want 3 months of ads. And she bought everything I had. And if I had given up on her after the second, after the third, after the fourth, after the fifth, if I had given up on her like everybody else would have, then I probably wouldn't have a nice, awesome client with me. But instead, I just kept going. I stayed persistent, and that's what happens. So let's see. Trying to go back and forth on the questions. Any questions on Instagram? All right, let's go back to YouTube. All right. Yeah, someone said even the top artists are showing a clip of how to work on a client. Yeah, I think people are starting to figure it out. I work with a lot of big trainers, and I'm trying to teach them and educate them also. I'm not taking all the credit, but I do think people are starting to figure out that the industry is just too competitive to just be like, buy for me, buy for me, buy for me. Like, you got to provide that value. You got to help out people, because here's the thing. If let's say we're selling fruit. Let's say we got 3 people selling watermelons. Would you rather buy from person 1 who is just like, hey, here, I'll give you $1 off. This is my watermelon. Or number 2, maybe they're like, hey, I've got the top farm that's super organic, like it's cruelty-free, cage-free, organic, whatever you want to say. And this is, or would you rather be the third person and be like, hey, how are you doing? Like, I noticed this. I really like your dog. Yeah, I started this business a couple years ago. It's with me and my son. It's like a family-owned business. We enjoy doing it. I guarantee you're probably going to buy from that third person, because you've got to know them. They seem like they care about you. They're a nice person, and you've kind of learned their story. And so that's the person you're going to buy from. That's the mindset I'm trying to get you guys in, is you're not just a service. You're not just a product. You're a human being with a real story, with a real passion, with a real, I hope you have a passion. If you are in this industry and you don't have a passion for it, then you probably will be out of business. That's just that's the thing. I've seen a lot of people who they came in this industry because they thought it was easy money. Their trainer said it was an easy 6 figures. Once they realized they had to do some work, it's not easy, then they quit. And that's kind of like, if you don't have passion for something, it's almost not worth doing. And so I would, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm just saying, like, life's too short. Find something you're passionate about. Find something that you're willing to give up your Sunday like this to, like, go learn about or go teach people about or go do. Life's too short to do something you're not passionate about. Someone says, how many times can you post the same video? This is a great question, because I'm like you, if not worse, because I have 2 full-time jobs. I don't have that much time. And so, do I want to make a separate video for Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, my website? No. I want to take one piece of content, and will I break it down into a 1-minute clip on Instagram? Probably, because that's the max for Instagram. But besides that, I'm going to take the exact same video. I'm going to upload it on YouTube. I'm going to upload it on Facebook, maybe my page and my group. I'm going to take that YouTube video. I'm going to put it on my website and make a blog post out of it. I'm going to post it maybe on Instagram TV, maybe post a clip on Instagram. Like, I'm going to use that one video for a lot of content. I'm going to use it for, like, if it's a good video, if I think it's a high performer, if I think it's very valuable, if I did a good job. Because, I mean, my videos are not all created equal. Some are good, some are better, some are not that great. So I kind of judge that based on the reactions I get. That's when I tell people to comment and leave a reaction if you like it, because then I can kind of determine better. And yeah, my point is, you don't have to make a new video every day. I'm not saying you have to make a new video every week. You can make, like, let's say you make 1 video a month, and that video just covers like everything you're doing. Like, maybe it's a live video. It covers frequently asked questions. It does all this stuff. That's awesome. I'm not saying that's the only post you have to make. Going back to frequency, you should probably also make some Facebook posts that have, like, maybe it's a longer form words where you have like things written out. Maybe you can just make some before and after posts, which all of you are probably already doing. Like that's the one thing people do is before and after posts. And then maybe you can post some Instagram stories, some Facebook stories. Here's a tip. If you're like me and you get busier during the week than you do the weekend, then why don't you sit down on a Sunday and maybe take like an hour and map out. You don't necessarily have to map out, but like think about what you want to post for the rest of the week. And then just go ahead and I use a thing called Buffer, because the main reason I use that is because it allows me to create spaces and like on Instagram, you know how it like gets jumbled up. Well, Buffer, Buffer, allows me to basically type out my post on a computer and then post it on my Instagram or schedule it out on my Instagram so that I can have those nice little like 2 to 3 sentence like groupings of words and spaces and all that. And it just looks a whole lot better than just doing it directly on the Instagram app. And so that's what I use as Buffer. I recommend scheduling out your post. You can do it natively on Facebook, or you can use something like Buffer or Hootsuite or whatever to schedule it out to where it posts on Facebook, it posts on Instagram, and it just makes your life a whole lot easier. You can literally have a post like Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, how many ever posts you want to do throughout the week. You can have them all scheduled out, and then that way you're spending no time on that during the week, and it allows you to follow up with leads more or capture content during the week and think about other things besides just posting. So that's my productivity tip for you. Let's see. All right, so yeah, comment your questions below. I got a couple more. Someone said pet because they saw Oscar. Someone said, how do you target the people that watched your video ad? That'll be in custom audiences. And I don't want to get too much into advertising here, but yeah, you can create custom audiences of people who have engaged with your page, who have gone to your website using a Facebook pixel, or have watched a certain video. There's a lot of cool things you can do with targeting. That's not just like an area or an interest or something like that. And I think that's where my long-term clients see the best results, because they've got all this data built up, and I'm able to do like different types of audiences, like retargeting and stuff. It's harder for me to do that with someone who just started, or not just start, maybe just started with me, because we need time to build up that data. And that's why I think if you spend $100 on Facebook and you don't get anything back that week, I don't think you should look at it as an expense. That's an investment where you're getting data built up. You're reaching those future buyers, so you probably will see your money back. It just might take like 30 days to 60 days, but you're getting that data for the most. And if you know what to do with that, or have someone like me that knows what to do with it, it's super powerful. Combine that with good content, combine that with just good business skills, caring about people, and before you know it, you'll be booked up. All right, cool. Someone says, are you going to post this later? I'm doing a training and I want to watch after. Yeah, it'll be on my YouTube channel. So youtube.com/Jake Randolph Marketing. Let's see. Let's look. Someone says, how to stand out in a saturated area. So if you do these, let me pull this formula back up. If you do this formula, I guarantee you that you will stand out in a saturated. If you notice this is pink, it's because my wife, it's her iPad. If you do this formula, goodwill, I'm trying to show it to all my cameras, goodwill plus offer times frequency equals money, then you're gonna win even in a saturated area, because most people are not developing goodwill. Most artists are going straight for the offer or straight for the money. They're not developing that goodwill. Even if they're posting frequently, they're probably not doing the goodwill. They're probably doing here's what most people do. They do a lot of offers and a lot of frequency. So they're posting a lot of book now, book with me, go here to book, or yeah, you get the idea. That's what most people are doing. When you don't have that goodwill, it's like, okay, I don't really care that much about your service because you're obviously not someone I really care to do business with. Or you're just not capturing their attention because you're not providing value. Like I said, the number one way to get that goodwill is provide value. So here's another example, very actionable tip you can do today. Instead of just posting about your service, because I know that all of you are probably thinking like, oh, it's hard to get people in and to set up a Facebook Live video and to do all that. Plus we have to schedule it out. So those are goals, but let's see, what can you do today? Why don't you just go and do like, here is my favorite beauty tip that saves me 10 minutes every morning, or here's a skincare tip that because like, here's the thing, if you're a microblading artist, you don't only have to post about microblading. You can post like, why do people get microblading done? One, to look better. Two, convenience. Three, I mean, name your reason. And when you really break down why someone books your service, then you can kind of understand your audience better. And so let's say you do microblading and you go after and you break it down and you go after the reason of they're doing it for beauty. So now you can say, okay, that opens up a whole avenue, that opens up a whole option, a whole list of things that I can start doing topics on. So try to have a variety of like, some of your content is microblading and some of your content can just be like, here's 3 top beauty tips, or here's 3 whatever tips that relate back to that core foundation of beauty or convenience or whatever the reason may be. So if that's making sense to people, please let me know in the comments and click the like button on the page. I know we got 28 viewers on right now and only 18 likes. So some of you have not hit that like button yet on YouTube. Cool. Yeah, going back to that question, how to stand out in a saturated area. Yeah. If you go back, if you haven't seen this, or if you haven't seen the beginning of the part, maybe you came on the video late, make sure to watch that and then post consistently. Think outside the box. So like, look around your competition and say like, what are they doing that seems to be working and getting a lot of engagement? And then also, what are they not doing? Because that's probably something they should focus on. If everybody is only posting before and after pictures, then maybe I should do like a video walkthrough of my salon. Maybe I should do like a frequently asked questions interview, bring on one of my previous clients, get their video testimonial, or sorry, Instagram's cutting out, but yeah, there's so many things you can do that don't involve just like, hey, go online and book with me right now. Because like I said, if you're just going after today buyers, then you're going to be broke tomorrow. That's a good one. If you're going after today buyers, then you're going to be broke tomorrow, because you need to build that foundation. You need to build that trust. You need to build those relationships. All right, someone says, can you email me your info? Yeah, so if you're on here and you're wondering like, how can you work personally with me? How can I look at your stuff, come up with a strategy for you, do all those things? Go to PMUads.com, PMUads.com. You can also go to PMUmarketer.com, but I made it easy for you because that PMUads.com is going to take you directly to my video where I explain in depth my whole service. I show you what I offer. I talk about frequently asked questions. There's a lot that goes into there. So cool. Looking for a couple more questions and we'll be done. So if you have any remaining questions or want me to re-clarify anything, let me know. Or if you just want to comment something, I'd love to hear feedback. Let's see. Oh, someone said, what is the name of the app to schedule posts? Like I said, I use Buffer. I think you can get up to 3 profiles for free. So like Facebook, Instagram, and whatever. Like you can do Facebook personal. That's a common question. Like, should you use your personal Facebook for business? Totally up to you. I look at marketing. I look at social media. I look at the internet as an easy way or an easier way to reach people. No other time in the history of the world have we been able to lay in our freaking beds and do business, or lay in, that sounded wrong, on your phones? Have you been able to reach people for your business, to make connections with people, or just like sitting on your couch? Like back in the day before they had internet, you actually have to call people, you have to fax people, you have to send a mail that takes a horse 2 days to get to somewhere. And so now that we have everything on our Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, whatever, now that we have the internet, you can reach people so much easier. And so if you want to use that on your personal Facebook, go ahead. I do sometimes. Like I'll make testimonial posts. I'll make like some business advice on my personal. It's up to you. Like you don't have to, but the more, I was actually watching a video that explained this really well. It's all about attention. If you don't have attention, if you don't have someone's attention, if you don't have people's eyes on you, then you're not going to stay in business very long, because without someone's attention, like if you only have half my attention, you're not getting any of my money. And so you have to have someone's full attention for them to become a buyer. And so if you're not good at getting attention, if you were raised in a family that says like, hey, you just need to keep quiet. Don't draw attention to yourself. You don't want people to look at you. You just want to fly under the radar. If you've developed that mindset, then you need to get rid of that. You need to. I'm going to end this YouTube not YouTube. I'm going to end this Instagram real quick. All right, cool. So yeah, if you're in that mindset, if you've set yourself up to where like, oh yeah, I'm an introvert, and like I get it. Like I don't like being around people all the time. For sure. So I totally understand where you're coming from. But if you're not getting yourself out there, then you're just not doing what it takes to succeed, honestly. Like you're not using your tools to your full advantage. These are all tools. Obviously, human to human is where the foundations of business come in. But when you use social media to reach other humans, then you're using social media as a tool, and you're not letting it use you. Like it kills me to see people like, honestly, I have this, and this is a good productivity tip too. I have this, it's like a Google Chrome extension that's like Facebook newsfeed eradicator. And so literally instead of showing my Facebook newsfeed, it shows like a quote or like a motivational quote. And it helps me because like one, it helps the page load faster usually. And two, it just helps my productivity because like Facebook knows what you like and Facebook knows what you tend to watch. And if you're not careful, they'll get you on with like a headline or a video or something that before you know it, you've spent an hour watching stupid videos and wasting your time. And so as a business owner, we all know that time is money, and just avoid the Facebook newsfeed unless you're using it for your advantage, unless you're using it for business or to connect with people. If you're just I see so many people like, oh, Jake, I don't have time to make a video. I don't have time to follow up with leads. And then I look at their Facebook page or their Facebook profile, and they're like, fill out this 50 quiz thing talking about what kind of colors you like and what's your favorite food. And like nobody gives a crap. Why would you spend 30 minutes filling out a 50 questionnaire thing just to post to show your friends? Like you're wasting your time. The same people that tell me like, oh, I just don't have time to do Facebook Lives, I just don't have time to do anything, are the same ones that are like, hey guys, just finished my 3rd season of this show on Netflix. Just can you recommend another freaking 10-hour show for me to watch and waste my life away from? That's basically what people are doing. And I definitely don't mean that in a negative way. Like I get, we all need to decompress at times and stuff. But if you spend the majority of your time, or if you waste the majority of your time, you're just not setting yourself up for success. And it comes down, like, that's another question I get is work-life balance. It comes down to what you want out of life. And I'm sure it changes as you get older, as you, whatever your goals. But I think work-life balance is one of those things where I'm not going to sit here and tell you what you should do. You should decide yourself, and because it's your life. For me personally, I can tell you what I do. Like I think that right now I'm at a point in my life where growing my business and making an impact on the world is something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to help a lot of people. I've always wanted to like make like a big impact, and I've got that opportunity right now. We're in an amazing economy. I've got people. I've found a niche that I can help. And so I'm in like a super blessed time right now. So even though it seems like I'm working a lot of times, and it does get frustrating at times, like just like any business or job, it is something that's like super passionate for me. And so sometimes I'll find myself working till midnight and then getting up at 6 a.m. to do it all over again. And I mean, that's not sustainable all the time for me, but I mean, I don't have to force myself to do that a lot of times because it's something that I'm passionate about. But I mean, will I be doing that for 10, 20 years? I don't know. I mean, who knows? I might go crazy and take a 1-year sabbatical. You never know. And I don't like to say I'm going to do that. I don't like to impose my will on people. I don't like to be like, this is what I do, so you should do that. I basically like to say like, here's what it takes to grow a business. You can either do what it takes to grow a business, or you can stop complaining that your business sucks. So you have to make choices. Like, if you want a very profitable business, if you want the fancy purses, if you want to drive the nice cars, if you want to help a lot of people, if you want to do all that stuff, then it takes effort, it takes work, because everybody else wants that stuff too. But if you're okay with living paycheck to paycheck and watching Netflix because you enjoy that, that's good. I don't care. It's your life. Like I said, I'm not judging people. Like when I was in college, I wasted a lot of time playing video games. I mean, that's life. I didn't really have a purpose, I would say, back then, and so that's why. When it comes down to it, work-life balance, it's a great discussion to have. It's something to think about, like what do you want in life? But it's not something you should let anybody else decide for you. I think the biggest problem I have is when people complain that they don't have time and then they waste time, or when they say that they want to be super successful but they don't put in the work or their effort to be successful. And that's usually when I have not really the problem with somebody. I'm just like, hey, you just got to figure things out, because like if I see that you're complaining that you have no bookings, but I look at your page and you have no content, then what do you expect? And so I just like I like to show people what it takes to succeed. I like to show people tactics and stuff on like how you can grow your business. You can either choose to do. I guarantee you, 99% of the people, or not. I don't think that's true. I guarantee you, 9 out of 10 people will not do a Facebook Live video. If they do, it's going to be one of those close-ups wiping off the ink and stuff, because that's all they have the courage to do. And that's fine. Like, I'm giving you the best tactics, or sorry, I can't even talk right now. I'm giving you the best tactics I can right now. And if you choose to use them, that's great. If you choose to use them and it worked for you, then let me know, because that's very rewarding to me to see like, okay, I actually helped this person. Someone actually took my advice. That's always exciting. And so, yeah, remember the formula: goodwill plus offers times frequency. And if you're missing one of those things, if you're missing the goodwill, if you're missing a good offer, because here's the thing, I get some people that are like, all right, I've posted some and I've done a couple of your tactics, but nobody's booking. And I look and they're like more expensive than everybody else. I'm like, well, maybe your offer is not that convincing. Maybe you're not really portraying the value you bring. And so, yeah, I really appreciate you guys joining me today and going over. Like I said, if you want to, I've got I think 4 spots open for September. If you're interested in working with me, you can go to pmuads.com to go directly to my Facebook advertising page. And that way you can kind of check out. Feel free to reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram at PMU Marketer, or / official Jake Randolph. But cool, I'll put some links below. I hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, if you did enjoy it, please give me that big thumbs up. Please leave a comment. Let me know. And we'll do more videos like this. I really enjoy being able to teach. Like my favorite thing is being able to take like big picture concepts or internet marketing concepts or whatever, and bringing them down into like an actionable tip of like, okay, here's the concept. Here's how we can apply it. That's how you execute and make the money. Because that's really what it comes down to, is kind of analyzing your business, taking the time. I see so many people that are like, oh, I'm just not good at videos. Well, I'm not really either. But were you good at permanent makeup the first time you tried it? Were you good at walking the first time you tried it? No. But the difference is, for most of you, you probably said, like, even if you were doing it as a baby, you're like, I'm going to walk until I succeed. Or maybe that's what your parents said. Like, we're going to keep getting them to try to walk until they succeed. The problem is you kind of lose that mentality as you get older, because then it's like, okay, instead of having that same drive as I did to walk, now I don't really have that drive. It's like, okay, I'll try. Okay, I fell down a couple of times, I quit. And that's what most people do. But if you get that drive and you're like, all right, I'm going to freaking keep doing these tactics until I succeed no matter what. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep taking massive action. I'm going to keep working with mentors. I'm just going to crush it. If you have that kind of drive, then you will be successful. And even if you don't get the amount of success you desire, I guarantee you'll grow as a person, become a lot more fulfilled than the people who kind of half-ass it and say like, all right, I'm gonna try a little bit, but it's too hard. I'm gonna quit. It's just not worth it for me. So it's all about choices, guys. It's all about choices. Cool. So, all right. I suck at ending live videos, so I'm just going to end it. Thank you for watching, and catch me on PMU Marketer anytime. See ya.